supplements that we put together that are gonna arm your immune system. Okay, and there's also a discount on those. All right, and then after that, we have a recipe sheet for some smoothies. And at the back, we have a sheet about Salad Master. They will be doing a demonstration here this afternoon as well. All right, wonderful. And before we get started, I do want to share with you all my first experience with chiropractic. When I was a little girl, my mom was shoveling snow in our driveway, and she hurt her back. Anybody else hurt themselves doing something like that, something kind of silly? Yes. So in my family, that person was my mom. Before that, though, she was the complete picture of health. She was a young mom. She was chasing around 3 little kids. She worked full time. She ate healthy, and there was nothing that could stop her. But when she hurt her back, she was completely debilitated by that pain. I'm talking, she couldn't sit, she couldn't stand, she couldn't lay down. She could not do anything without being in tears from that pain. Thankfully, she did see a chiropractor, and before we knew it, she was back to normal. But here's the thing. Her issue wasn't the pain. Her pain was not the source of her pain. The issue was her brain and the rest of her body weren't able to clear the pain. When that interference was removed, and her body and her brain were able to communicate again, her body was able to function. She was able to heal. And that's really what chiropractic is all about, which is one of our 5 essentials, as you know. So today, Dr. Nick will be out in just a minute. He'll get things started here. And we're gonna have an awesome detox workshop. All right, let's get started, guys.
Hey, we ready?
Yes.
A little more energy than that, right? Are we ready?
Yes.
Here we go. So just, if you haven't looked at this, the average person is possibly exposed to 2 million toxins every day. You have the possibility of being exposed to 2 million different toxins every single day. If you ever painted, if you've ever been to new construction, if you ever bought a new car, the stuff you put in your hair, the shower gel you use, the soap you use, the shaving cream you use, the air freshener you spray in your house. I mean, some of you may have good stuff, but some of you may not. Possibly 2 million toxins. Think about what you're exposed to just before you leave the house every day. Right? This is the Global Health Center. They break it down even more. 70,000 toxins are used commercially. 70,000 toxins used commercially. That's just in the products we use every single day. 3,000 plus toxins are used in the supply of food, just what they put in our food. 10,000 plus toxins are used in our food storage, our food preservation, our food containers. Right, so think about how you go through your daily day and what toxins you're exposed to already. All right. Show of hands. Anybody think that maybe it's time to detox? Right? You think you're ready to detox? Guys, I know I'm ready to detox. We do this every year. This is my 9th year detoxing. It's a little bit difficult when you do it. I'm not going to say it sucks, but maybe it sucks a little bit, right? But it's so worth it, right? The benefits you get are so worth it. It's just you got to put a little time and energy into your health. Right, you guys, if you've been in our office at all, you realize that's what is important to us. So we want to put that time and energy in your health, and detoxing is one of our 5 essentials. So we've got to figure out what to do about it. We've got to start detoxing about it. So 2 million toxins daily here. Our office purpose is to be the standard for natural health care in this community. We want to empower you guys to live the best life possible. We want to empower you guys to live a functional life. And I think the key word there is empower. All right, if I just have a detox here, seminar here, and you learn something and you get some good information about it, but you don't implement anything, do you see how that may have been a little bit of a waste? But we want to empower you guys. So when you're out in your community, guys, I'm telling you, after you leave this weekend, you're going to go to a family get together, and they're going to say, why the heck are you detoxing? Like, you're crazy. Why would you do that? Why do you go see a chiropractor? That's weird. Like, I don't go see a chiropractor. My back doesn't hurt. Right. And then, you know, good for them, but they're missing the bigger picture, right? We're missing the bigger picture of what health is. So we want to empower you guys to be healthy for as long as you need to be, right? Take control of your health and do something. Our office motto is let our family help your family. We treat every single patient here like they're part of our family. This is like we're doing the detox. The reason we have these detoxes is because I started doing them and I'm sick of doing them by myself. So I want to invite some other people to do it with me. The same thing, our kids, they actually won't be doing this supplement with us, but they're going to eat the same food we eat that detox week. They're going to eat a raw wheat that way. everything we do, we offer to our patients because we want what's best for our family, healthy your family. You've probably seen a bunch of kids and pregnant moms and families running around here. It looks like a daycare in here sometimes. That's exactly what we want. That's what we want for you guys. All right. So we've got a couple guest speakers here today. We've got Sebastian and Ava here and over here. They're with Healthy and Happy Living is their company. They also with Salad Master, which is the highest quality cookware on the market right now. So he's going to talk to you a little bit later about the stuff you're cooking with, and give you some tips to start cooking a little bit healthier, and then walk you through a demonstration at the end to see how you can tell if your cookware is toxic or not. So pretty powerful information. And then Matt Conforti, am I saying that correctly? Yep. So Matt Conforti is a representative from Orthomolecular, from the company that we're doing the detox with, which is another, when we want products or supplements in this office, I want to make sure you guys are getting the top quality. I mean, I don't know if you can walk into GNC and the guy who actually makes it is there to talk to you about what's in it, or what the product is, to make sure to answer your questions, right? Because I know a lot of you have questions about, what's this going to do? How am I going to respond to it? Am I going to lose weight? Am I going to gain weight? What kind of outcomes you want? He's going to answer all those questions and walk through that today. All right. I think most of you know who I am, Dr. Nick, my wife, Dr. Delphine. You got Maria, Erica, and Dr. Kate in the back here. That's our team that keeps everything running. We do have 4 girls in that picture right there. This is kind of a good representative of what life looks like for us, running around quite a bit. I told you that this is my 9th year of detoxing. So how this matriculated, how we started doing this. So this is the 4th year we've done it with the office, or the 5th year? 5th. This is the 5th year we've done it with the office. So that means I did 4 by myself. It was very beneficial, but not a whole lot of fun, because you're by yourself at home and they're cooking regular meals, and I'm sitting there drinking my water, and I wish somebody was doing that with me. But the very first detox I did, just so you guys know how detoxes work, the shorter in length, there's good and bad, right? You get it over with quicker, but it's usually a little more intense. Right, so my very first detox was a 7-day liver colon cleanse kind of a detox. 7 days, so you don't eat anything for those 7 days. You just right into it. You take 6 shakes a day, and the shakes are supposed to conform to your intestines and pull everything out. So you're literally cleaning from the inside out. We get ready. 2 other doctors at the time I was working with, they were going to do it with me. But guess what? Try to get 3 people to get their schedule together. Oh, we're going to do it this week. Well, I got a birthday party. I got a baseball game. I got this. I'm like, all right, put it the next week. Push it to the next week. I got so frustrated because we couldn't find the time to do it all together. I said, screw it. I'm starting. I started that day. I said, done. Didn't look at the calendar. Was just angry. So I started doing the detox. And the next day I realized my wife's birthday was 2 days later. So being the hardworking, amazing girl that she is, she obviously needs to celebrate her birthday. She wasn't going to do nothing on her birthday. So she's like, we're going to this Mexican restaurant. We have about 10 of our friends there. And I'm sitting water, smelling the Mexican food, standing there by myself. But I was committed to it, right? I wanted to get this thing done. So over the years, it's evolved. And now we have this workshop, and we have this detox with our patients. And we're able to give you guys the same things that we're doing and get the results, hopefully. All right, so that's how it started. All right, are we ready? We're gonna jump in. So everybody gotta stand up for the first part. Stand up, I know it's a little inconvenient. We don't have a ton of space here, right? So you gotta be careful here. I'm gonna give you 2 options. We're gonna change the energy a little bit, all right? We're gonna change the energy in the room. So you got 2 options. With anything we do, if you wanna get the best changes possible, you gotta commit, yes? You guys with me? Yeah. You gotta commit. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna see how committed we can get. We're gonna move our bodies a little bit. All right, so you got 2 options. You can either punch as hard as you can, or you can run in place as hard as you can. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Yes? All right, so I'm gonna say go, we're gonna go for 15 seconds. All we need to do is 15 seconds. You're gonna punch as hard as you can and run in place as hard as you can. Ready? Here we go. Ready, set, go. Hard as you can. Get that hard out. Come on. All right, get some sound. Deep breath. All right, go ahead, sit back now. That's it. Now, if you're out of breath and you're sweating because of that, we'll have a fitness workshop next time. We can work on that. All right, just change that energy, get the blood pumping here, deep breaths in. All right, now we can focus and get down to business. So this is a story called The Valley of the Blind. It was written by H.G. Wells, however, long time ago. If you want to look it up, I'd encourage it. I think it's a really cool story. I've only heard it through Reggie Gold. Reggie Gold is one of the chiropractic pioneers. He was one of the forefront of bringing chiropractic to the world. So if you Google Reggie Gold, Valley of the Blind, there'll be a YouTube. I think it's an audio, but I think it's a video. And it's about an hour long. He's doing a commencement celebration. He tells the story. It's got a little bit to do with I'll connect the detox at the end, but I think it just really relates to what we're dealing with right here in the world. So the Valley of the Blind is this tribe of people, this community of people who have been cut off from the world. They've been cut off from the world. It's a fictional story by H.G. Wells, but just look how how many years ago he wrote this, and it just applies right now. So this tribe is cut off from the world for whatever reason, and they've had a genetic modification that they can't see. They're all blind. And over the decades and the generations, they actually don't have any eye sockets either. They just have a smooth part of their face. Right? This is how this tribe has just been secluded. We have an explorer who's now just out doing exploring in the same mountain range. And his party, they have an accident, and the explorer falls and he lands in this valley. His party thinks he's dead, so they just like, man, we got to go home. But he survives the fall. He gets up and he's in this valley. He's by himself. He's got to figure out how to survive now, right? So he starts exploring, walking around. And he stumbles on the Valley of the Blind. He stumbles on this tribe. And as he's getting closer, he's like, man, something's weird over there. There's ropes everywhere around the community. The people are kind of walking funny. And then they hear him coming, so then they start to come out. Who's this person? They come out. As they get closer, he's shocked that there's these people with no eyes. He's like, holy cow. But he's grateful because he's saved, right? They've got food, they've got water, he's going to live. So when they get there, they start talking to him, this Valley of the Blind, and he starts talking to them. They're like, something's awful about this guy. He's talking about seeing things, and he's talking about like the sun and the birds. So like, we don't know what to do with them. They take him to the leader of the tribe, and they start communicating as well. And the guy's like, man, this guy's just crazy. Like, we all know there's just a big like black blanket up there. That's why nobody can see anything. There's no sun. There's no stars. There's no trees. We can't see any of that stuff. So what they decide to do, because he's the crazy one, is they want to seclude him from the rest of the group. They don't want to just throw him out because they know he'll die. So like, you can stay here, but you can't talk to the kids. You can't talk to the people. We don't want you to spread these crazy rumors that people can see stuff. So they seclude him, and life goes on, right? He's at least grateful to be alive. He just goes about his days. But of course, he starts to get more acclimated to the community, and then he meets somebody. And I mean, think about it. If you were alone for that long, you just companionship, being around people. So he meets a girl, they fall in love, and they want to get married. So of course they have to get permission. So they go to the tribe leader. He's like, we really don't know about this. You're that weird guy who thinks he can see stuff. So they said, we come up with a solution. We have a surgeon. We have a doctor here in our tribe. And what he can do is he can take your eyes out. All right, do you see where this is going? Like, he can take your eyes out. Then you'll be just like all of us. You'll be just like all of us, and we'll accept you, and it'll all be good, and you can marry her, and life will be fine. So in the moment, he says, all right, I want to have companionship. I'll do it. So he agrees, and they give him 2 weeks. So the surgery comes up 2 weeks later. It's the night before the surgery. He's been contemplating. And he's like, I'm going to take one more walk. I'm going to look at the trees. I'm going to look at the birds. I'm going to look at the stars one more time, because tomorrow I'm going to be blind for the rest of the day. And as he starts to get farther and farther away from this Valley of the Blind, from these people, the idea of taking his eyes out becomes less and less appealing. He starts to just think about what he's about to do, and he ends up deciding to not go through with it. He just continues to explore, continues to go on. He never goes back. At least I don't remember if he ever gets found or if it ever comes out, but basically he was willing to shun the rest of their society and live alone and give up his God-given freedom to see, right? His freedom that he's given.
Good for him.
Right? Good for him. Does it sound like anything else that might be going on in this world right now? Anything else that we're dealing with? That people are told, like, you do this thing and you must conform, otherwise you're weird or you're strange or you're the problem, right? We're not dealing with that everywhere we're at right now. And how does that work with the detox? I just talked to you guys about it a little. Like I said, when you leave today and you start to do a detox, what's somebody going to tell you? Just have a drink, man. Like, stop being weird. Like, why are you being weird? Why do you want to take care of your health? We're all fine. Like, just because it doesn't make sense to somebody else doesn't mean it's wrong, right? We shouldn't have to conform just to be part of that society. I think it's just so, when I listen to this probably like once a week now, because it just continues to help give me that confidence and strength that I know what we're doing in health is the right thing, right? We're trying to get people healthy. We're trying to be proactive and not reactive and look for problems and just try to get good at that. Right, so I'm so happy all of you are here to be part of that process, to be proactive and start taking care of your health in a little bit different way.
It's a brilliant quote.
I was just getting there. The path of least resistance makes rivers and men crooked, right? Henry David Thoreau. Can somebody turn the air conditioning on a little bit? So again, a detox is not the path of least resistance, right? A detox is probably a path of a little bit more resistance. For those of you that are doing the detox with us, you're going to get to a point in this next 2 weeks where you're gonna hit a rock, right? You're gonna be a little frustrated, you might be a little tired, you might be a little worn out, but just keep pushing through it. It's gonna make you stronger. You're gonna get the results you're looking for. You can feel it already?
Mindset.
So hopefully learn and have fun today. Breaking from conventional is going to be one of our themes going through here. So actually, guys, we did a little bit of technology here. There's something called a QR code, I think, which is a little square thing that you can shoot your phone at. We've got a couple of these in our presentation, so I'm hesitant about letting you guys put your phones on. But if you're able to, you can take a picture of this QR code and it'll take you to some sites, so just be prepared when we pull that out. You guys know about that. Hopefully that'll be pretty cool. And then obviously trying something new. If you haven't detoxed before, that's new. If you have detoxed before, we're going to talk about some different fasting you can do during the detox, different dietary changes you can make. So just be willing to try something. All right, we talked about the 2 million toxins that we're exposed to possibly every single day. But this is really where they come from. We're going to hit all of these here: food, water, environment, cosmetics, cleaners, containers. I'm telling you guys, no matter how well you think you do, you're being exposed to stuff that you may not even know. This is a picture right here. If you guys can see that, square picture in the middle. That's a picture I took, I think it was 2 years ago. Our girls would take piano lessons, and there's a park right next to it. So I would drop them off at the piano lessons, and the rest of us would go to the park. Well, we're at the park. This little van pulls up, and these guys hop out. Can you see that white line right there that the green arrow is pointing to? They hop out, and they all start spraying these trees. I can't control it. Right? How am I supposed to control it? So we can control. We want to control as much stuff as possible. Why? Maybe you have the greatest diet and the best nutrition, and you exercise and you meditate and do all this good stuff. How do you control that? Right? You know, about a minute later at the park, all of a sudden, what do I smell? Like that strong chemical wave just come over us. But what are we gonna do? Right? We deal with it. We detox and we move on. This is why we put a detox in. This is why I do a detox every single year. I do a cleanse once a year. Because there's certain things that it's just hard to control. You ever go to a restaurant, like you know what they're cooking with, you know what's in the food. When you go to a friend's house, but we still want to be able to do life. We want to be a part of society. But this is a detox, is the way we can do it a little bit better, a little bit better. Toxic damage. So if you're wondering what this some of the stuff causes, 95% of all cancer is attributed to diet and toxins. This is a great study called. Why am I blanking right now? It's a study of the Human Genome Project. Anybody heard of the Human Genome Project? Go ahead and look the Human Genome Project up. There's a group of doctors that were trying to prove that genetics was the problem. They wanted to prove all this issue and all this disease we're having is all because of genetics. Most people are born with a genetic issue, like heart disease, cancer, diabetes. They were born with this. Because guess what? There's a whole lot of money in genetics, right? Manipulating genetics and the medication for genetics. So they did the Human Genome Project, and the cool thing is they actually proved the exact opposite in the Human Genome Project. I don't remember the exact, this has been a couple of years since I read the study, but what they did is they found, I think humans and their genetic expression is only like 5 genetic expressions different from our Earthworm. Like that's all, we're only separated from Earthworm by 5 different genetic expressions. Is that not crazy? So when they looked at the genetics, they said only 3 to 5% of all disease, 3 to 5% of all diseases contribute to genetics. So 3 to 5%, everything you guys have going on, things in your life, your family members, your friends, 3 to 5% is genetics. That's it. That's it. That means 95 to 97% is environmental. 95 to 97% is environmental, and most of us can do something about a lot of that, right? We can change our food, we can change our diet, we can do exercise, we can get in a sauna, but you've got to do something about it. This is our kids right now. One of the highest infant mortality rates in industrialized nations of the United States. Nearly half of all U.S. children have at least one chronic disease. Half of all children have chronic disease. 1 in 59 kids with autism right now. And they said if you actually do deeper studies, it's a little bit more like 1 in 40. And is it getting better or worse? It's worse. It's getting worse. We've got to do something different. 1 in 13 kids with allergies. 1 in 12 suffer with asthma. 1 in 7 children are on antipsychotic medication. Antipsychotic medication. That's not like a small medication. That's powerful stuff. 1 in 5 are diagnosed with emotional and mental disorder. All right, we're doing something wrong. We're doing something wrong. And then this is by Reggie Gold. In order to be accepted by a sick society, you must be as sick as they are. No way. Right? I refuse. I refuse to become as sick as they are just so they'll accept me in a detox or a chiropractic or an adjustment or going for a run or going and doing what some of the other stuff I'll show you here in a second. Like I will not conform to a sick society just so they feel better about themselves. Do not conform, because that's the problem. Right? And listen, I get it. Most of us, we just want to go on an airplane. We just want to go on vacation. Right? We just want to get back to life. That's fine. Do your thing, but just let's not force people to conform. Right? You got to make your own choice. All right, if you're taking notes and you don't know what the 5 essentials are, I would write these down. So we use 5 essentials in this office to get us healthy, and a lot of them intertwine, they interconnect. So core chiropractic is the first one. A healthy nervous system. A nervous system controls everything we do in our body, right? For our heart to beat, for our lungs to breathe, to digest food, to clear out toxins, for our liver to work. The brain's got to tell it what to do down the spinal cord, out the nerves. Nutrition matters, right? Nutrition matters. And we'll talk about the difference between supplementation and eating healthy. But nutrition will give you the building blocks for health. Mindset. How does mindset work with a detox? Well, when it gets hard, guess what? Your mindset's going to have to be strong. So we got to work on mindset. Oxygen exercise. You got to pump. Right? Movement is life. We've heard that before. Movement is life. You got to pump nutrients to your body. And then minimizing toxins is our 5th essential, which is why we do this workshop right here, because we want to make sure we're catching this essential. If you need me to repeat those, I can. Okay. All right, exit conventional. This is the first part of that. I told you that conventional theme is going to be on here. So this is just some examples of stuff that we do in our daily lives. So exit conventional. This is what myself and Dr. Delphine actually had a great opportunity this last seminar we were at. This is called the Wim Hof experience. So I think she posted pictures on Facebook. Those are ice baths right there. Those are ice baths. So we paid somebody like $150 so we can go jump in a bucket of ice and sit there. It was actually really cool. There was breathing that was with it. So it was detoxing like the CO2 from the body, breathing, meditation, and then we were in an ice bath. This is Dr. Delphine's legs right there. That's a foot detox. So she goes into the foot detox every now and again. Right here, this is my 13-year-old, and I think that's a couple of the kids playing around that what looks like a sand room. That's a salt room. It's a salt cave, which if you didn't know is about 5 minutes down the street here in Barrington, right on 14. It's about 5 minutes down the street. So we go there, we sit in there, it's about 45 minutes, and it's Himalayan salt on the floor, Himalayan salt on the walls, and they have a machine that crushes the Himalayan salt into like these microscopic particles you can breathe in, and it helps clean out your upper respiratory, helps clean out the nose and the throat, helps your body, helps the lungs detox.
Seriously? It's right here, right?
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes down the street, right on 14, right by the Jimmy John's. It's right next to the Jimmy John's. Right, so this is just stuff that we put our time and energy into. Have you guys ever heard the saying, you either pay for it now or you pay for it later? Like, that's your health. So we choose to pay for this stuff now and then not be on medications, right? And not be stuck in a nursing home or whatever else may happen. I'm not saying that none of that stuff will ever happen, but we're giving ourselves the best opportunity to be as healthy as possible. And if something bad does happen, the best opportunity to heal from it. Right, we're putting energy in now so we don't have to scramble later. Exit conventional. I wouldn't call any of those things conventional. Especially the ice bath. Yeah, I wouldn't call it. So we're gonna go through these top toxins right here. So cleaners. So this is actually jumping into the toxicity levels and the stuff that you guys are exposed to. So if we talk about cleaners, most people are using cleaners that have formaldehyde, chlorine, ammonia, and this chemical called perc right here. These are kind of the nasty ones. They're gonna get in there and have some hormone disruption. If people are wondering why they have chronic issues, chronic disease, is a lot of times coming from this toxic exposure. Disinfectants. So everybody's putting their disinfectants on their hands right now. They have fragrance in them, artificial fragrance, colors. Here's another one. We'll get to the cosmetics as well. I'll put it right here. I had a class one time and they were talking about perfume. And if you get like the lower kind of level of perfumes, they like flip the bottle over and see what it says. And there's a warning on a lot of perfumes that says, careful on your skin, this could give you a reaction. Last time I checked perfume, I think you spray like right on your skin, right? So if you're not getting a quality perfume, it's literally telling you this is toxic to you, but people don't read that stuff, they just spray it right on your skin.
As a child growing up, I never used, my parents didn't make me use disinfectant for swimming surfactants. I was played in the woods and I gathered dead animals and
dirt is good,
put them in bleach and then put in the bones, I would say, and then put the bones together.
Kind of like collection.
Yeah,
very cool.
Rebuild spine and stuff. And I was in combat with drones all the time, and built up my immune system.
Right.
And
That's how you build it.
I never was like, I wasn't a sickly child. I never got sick. I stayed home from school probably once with the flu.
Well, there's a difference too of I appreciate you sharing. There's a difference of like washing your hands with soap and water and using these disinfectants as well, right? And that's kind of what we're getting at here. Yeah, you want to have some hygiene here. So soap and water but you play in the dirt's just fine. Like that's how you get your microbiome and everything stronger. But what we look at is the stuff in there. So even if it's soap and water, I was out somewhere the other day and I washed my hands and my hands stunk for like, every time I ate something, it's like, oh my God, you can just smell the chemicals coming off my hands. Right, when you're sensitive to that stuff, it starts to trigger something. So propylene glycol is what a lot of people that's antifreeze. Right, you're putting antifreeze on your body essentially. Doesn't make any sense. Kills 99.9% of germs. That's the claim to fame for everything, right? Just so you guys know, that's not a good thing. Like that's not a good thing because now if you had 100 germs on your body, if you had 100 germs, killing 99.9% would be awesome. But I think the last time I checked, it was like 1.5 trillion germs around you right now. So I don't know what 1%, 0.1% of 1.5 trillion is, but that's a whole lot, I'm pretty sure. So anybody heard something called superbugs? You heard of superbugs, right? I'll give you an example. Anybody know what heard of staph infection? All right.
Yes.
Well, staph infections are nasty. You may need to go to the hospital if you have a bad enough staph infection. But what they found is now we have something called MRSA. Anybody heard of MRSA?
Yeah.
So they use all these antibiotics and they overprescribed this stuff and they're trying to kill these staph infections. And what happened was you created a superbug because that became resistant to all the antibiotics they were giving it. So now you have MRSA, which is even worse and much harder to kill. So when you kill all but 99.9%, that 0.1 of that 1.5 trillion becomes they're resistant to these disinfectants now. And then if you do it again and they resist them again and resist them again, they get nastier and nastier. So we're literally creating these superbugs by only killing this 99.9%. Everybody thinks it's such a great thing, right? Your body's designed to handle germs. You have a microbiome, you have skin. You gotta be able to get strong enough to fight this off naturally. And if we keep messing with nature, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
So what do you suggest they're using instead of like after patients?
So we use soap and water and we use vinegar and water. How about if you want to save money? How about white vinegar and water? Right? I just saved you a few bucks right there from.
Like put it in the spray bottle?
Yeah, we put all those are vinegar and water in here. Vinegar and water. If you want to have a little better smell, you can add a little essential oil to it. Sometimes I walk in the rooms that does smell like salad dressing a little bit. But I'll take salad dressing over the chemicals, right? I'll take that over the chemicals. And so you can add like a drop of mint or eucalyptus in there.
Thieves.
Get a little bit of thieves, different smell. Yep. So yeah, I mean seriously, guys, vinegar. They all want to follow the science. Well, the science it's been the same. Like vinegar and water kills germs. Like soap and water kills germs. We don't need to add all this garbage in and poison ourselves to do it.
What's the percentage of vinegar to water in those?
20%, I believe.
Of vinegar and the rest is water
Yep.
that we put in those spray jars?
Yeah, it's not a whole lot. You get the Costco bottle of vinegar, you're good to go for 6 months, right? You're saving tons of money now. Look at that. All right, here's your first QR code if somebody's doing. So this QR code is going to take you to the environmental working group, and what it'll do is it'll pull up their website, and on their website they'll rank the different products on there. Does that make sense? So if you have a cleaning product, you can actually look it up, and they'll tell you. I think it's a 1 to 10 scale. They'll tell you how clean that product is, and I think they rate it like it's like 7 to 10 is really bad. You get 6 to or 8 to 7. Whatever the numbers are. 3 to 7 is medium, and then like 1 to 3 is okay. You guys got that? We can get that back to you if you need it. But it takes you to the environmental working group site. Listen, not everybody, I'm not saying the environmental working group is perfect, but it's at least it's a good resource. If you're in the grocery store or something and you're trying to pick something up, you can do that. Got it? All right. Cosmetics. This is the one that I'm not an expert in, I'll say, but I think it's good to know. So, and they did a study of it was like 100 or so different cosmetics. They found 96% contain lead, 90% contain beryllium, 61% contain thallium, 51% contain cadmium, and 20% contain arsenic. I think that's pretty commercial standard names of cosmetics. Now the problem is those are heavy metals. Those are heavy metals. And when you put things on your skin's the largest organ in our body. Guess what your skin does? It absorbs it, right? So this stuff is, now think about it, You're putting stuff on your skin, it's absorbing into your body. Now you got to deal with these chemicals. And heavy metals are some of the nastiest chemicals to deal with in the body. They're the hardest to get rid of, and they cause the most damage. On a side note, I'm talking about putting things on our skin. I'll give you something you can change right now. Antiperspirant versus deodorant. You don't have to raise your hands if you use antiperspirant. Now just hear me. Antiperspirant is designed to stop you from sweating, antiperspirant, where deodorant is just kind of giving you a better smell, right? So you don't have your body odor. But what happens, especially in females, you guys shave and then you rub antiperspirant on, which is usually aluminum, and the aluminum fills up your pores, and then you can't sweat. And you know what a really good way to get rid of toxins are? Sweat. So then you go about your day, your body tries to sweat these toxins out because the armpits is a great way to do it. It can't. Does anybody know where the most common place for breast cancer is? And the upper outer quadrant. The upper outer quadrant is the most common place people get breast cancer. What a correlation, right? You shave, you put this antiperspirant on, the toxins can't get out, and they just start to sit in your body, in your lymph nodes, or your trash can. They're trying to expel these things, but they get stuck. They get stuck. So if you have an antiperspirant, I can give you this right now. Start using deodorant. I don't care if it's a good or not, to be honest. It's much better than any antiperspirant. Make that change. All right, heavy metal toxicity. This is what heavy metal. I mean, think about it, guys. Pick something that's on this list right here. Dr. Nick, I have headaches. I don't feel well. My hormones are off. Cancer, memory loss. How about memory loss? All right, what is it? What's that going up through the roof right now? Right, dementia, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular issues, lung damage, contact dermatitis, headaches, brittle hair, hair loss, vomiting, nausea, all from heavy metal toxicity. Right. If you can just change one thing today, and maybe you guys are here, somebody just needs to learn that they need a different deodorant, somebody needs to drink more water, somebody needs to change their cosmetics, whatever it is, make that one change and you'll get healthier going forward.
In what way is the hippocampus being impacted organic?
Ooh, that's a great question, Petey. I haven't done a whole lot of the brain research right now, but there's something called the blood-brain barrier, and if toxin can cross that blood-brain barrier, I know it's going to be a lot more damage than if not. Not all of them can, but we're starting to see some of this stuff we're landing into, we're actually getting into the brain. So beyond that, I'd have to look it up and do a little more research.
Like heavy metals are hard to detox from. They get stored in your brain for 20 years. So any heavy metals you're eating, vaccines, or anything like this.
Who's got examples of cosmetics that are good quality? I know I asked.
Crunchy?
Crunchy is a good brand.
Yeah, Bare Mineral.
Arbonne.
It's better than what you'll find like the cheap one from Target or Walmart. It's not the top one, but it's Bare Mineral is good. Crunchy is good.
I use milk and my
Yeah.
But you have to look for the clean label. Yeah, they will have a clean label on it.
Okay. So there's definitely options out there. Guess what? You think they're going to cost less or more than the one you get from Walmart?
More.
Probably going to cost more, guys. Are you going to pay for it now or are you going to pay for it later? Right? I mean, when we want to make these healthy choices, sometimes you got to put a little investment in. You just got to put a little investment in. Oh, here's another here. Ooh, look at that, another QR code.
He's very excited about that.
I know.
Yes, he's very excited about the technology.
You guys have no idea how many times I took my phone on just to make sure this actually works. I'm like, wow, it really works. I'm gonna check it like 10 more times just to make sure. So this will take you there, well, it should be a different link. It should be the cosmetic one now, though.
Okay.
So it'll be the different link for where you can rate your cosmetics and one you can rate the cleaners. But yeah, it's all taking you. So if you just go to the if you don't have your phone to take that picture, just go to the Environmental Working Group site and you'll be able to navigate through that. Microplastics. This is our containers. This is our what we wrap our food in. Plastics are basically everywhere. They test people's urine, and basically we're drinking like thousands of particles of plastics every day in our body. Right? So when you excrete, they would collect it, they would test it, and there's like thousands and thousands of particles in your urine. And this is, even if you're trying to eat healthy, like think about it, we can't see these things, right? They don't smell different. There's no taste. It's just in all the stuff that we do. Right. Well, so what we want to look at is, what are you drinking your water in, though? Is it in a plastic container? Is it in a glass container? Is it filters? Is it non-filtered? We'll talk about water here in a little bit. So exit conventional, just some plastic wraps and containers, if we can get rid of those and start using glass or stainless containers, that's gonna give you the better option. Now, what costs more? The glass and stainless or the plastic, right? The glass and stainless are gonna cost a little bit more, but they typically last longer and they're healthy, right? What are you gonna put your money into? All right, you about ready? First guest speaker, give me a chance to get some water. So exit conventional, we're gonna talk about our pots and pans right now. Sebastian's gonna give you much more information on this, but like if you're looking for that one change, if you're using nonstick pans, they gotta go. They just gotta go. Like there's no way you can avoid the chemicals and toxicity of nonstick pans. Stainless steel is gonna be better. Sebastian's gonna give you a little more details of why you know it's gonna have some problems. Ready? Round of applause, maybe? Yay!
Thank you guys for coming. The most important part, you already invested your time in your own health. Okay, you're doing something different, otherwise you wouldn't be here today. Some of you seem familiar. I think I met you before and I met this gentleman before, definitely before. So this is our fourth time with Dr. Nick, Dr. Delphine here. Thank you for inviting us over.
Love having you.
We started with them, basically like most of the customers, we met them on accident on some kind of Mariana local store here, right?
Heinen's,
yes, and we decided, let's go see what they are. I always were afraid about, chiropractors because they connect bones, right? You've heard that story before? And I said, I kind of wasn't into it much. But then my wife asked me politely, suggested that we should go. So
Good.
I'm married for a while, I decided to listen, so I went.
My wife asks me politely all the time.
Yeah, and you know what? It changed my life. It really did. I was a healthy person. I consider myself, but the improvement in my health, continuously coming here, it's really life changing for everybody. We call it a maintenance, right? Even if you're healthy, you have to continue maintenance. You have a car that runs, you go for oil changes, right? And this is your oil change for your body, I consider. So me and my wife Eva, we started a company called Healthy and Happy Living about 7 years ago. 7 years ago, and it all started on accident again. 11 years ago, I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, I had something called sarcoidosis, I had a chronic gout, and a few more. Okay, I was the perfect patient for the traditional. Okay, why? I was in the loop. Medicine on top of the medicine, doctors' advice basically were only 2 new medications, right? They tried the diets. I tried every single diet known to a traditional medicine, all failed. Okay, for over 10 years, I was on heavy medications. I even was taking morphine for pain. That's how bad my gout was. I had flare-ups about 2 to 4 weeks on average. Being on a diet, not drinking alcohol, not eating meat. Okay, being really as healthy as it gets with the traditional medicine standards. And then someone invited me for a healthy cooking show. Again, my wife insisted we go. Okay, so we went. I was not happy. I'd never cooked in my life 11 years ago. Toast and eggs, if you call it cooking. Okay, that's all I did before. And then there was a 21-year-old guy, I still remember Clint, cooked for us, and I was so unhappy that I have to be there, right? Healthy cooking show for a traditional man, Polish man, come on. Then I ate the dinner, and the dinner was phenomenal. I'm like, wow, honey, this is healthy. I can actually eat it this way. It tastes normal to me, not like a healthy food with no flavor. So I decided that I'm gonna change how I eat, how I live my life, not just the food, the whole lifestyle, right? I made a decision like this overnight. And guess what? May 1st, the 9th anniversary when I don't take any pills. Now, all my chronic disease disappeared in a matter of months. 6 months later, after I started eating different, sarcoidosis was gone, which was the biggest problem because it's autoimmune disease, very similar to cancer. And they have no idea what to do with that. Guess what? A miracle happened. It's not a miracle. I changed what was the root of the problem. I clean my body, we detoxify, that's why all that stuff is an important part of your life. But then what we start understanding with my wife is the difference, because sure, it's great to clean yourself, right? But you have to also stop delivering the best stuff. That's why Dr. Nick was talking about cosmetics, food choices, and other stuff. You can control that, okay? And some stuff, like Dr. Nick was talking, pollution, yes, we can control too much, right? But we can buy better filters for our house. Small changes. There is always some small improvements we can make. They don't cost arm and leg, okay? Water. Anybody has using filtered water in the house? You guys do, right? It's pretty good. Tastes that different? Costs a little bit more money, the filtration system, right? But in the long term, actually, it's cheaper. because you don't have to keep buying the bottles.
Mhm.
And it's good for environment too. You don't pollute the earth because you don't release the plastic bag, right? So it's actually a double-edged sword. In this case, a good thing. The food you eat. Anybody buys organic food? You guys do, right? It always makes sense, right? And don't take me wrong. Today, organic food is not what it used to be 40 years ago. Okay, 40 years ago, the food was phenomenal. It was considered normal food. Today, organic is the best choice we have. It's not perfect food anymore. Okay, but it's the best what we have access to as of today. I saw the study about organic food in England. They did test lettuce, okay, traditional lettuce grown traditionally and organic. And they compared to lettuce that was grown 30 years ago, nutrition-wise. To have the same amount of nutrition for one head of lettuce 30 years ago and today, organic, you need to eat 3 to have the same amount of nutrients that 30 years ago one had. Guess how much is traditional one? About 40. Wow. About 40 head of lettuce you need to get the same amount of nutrients that you had 30 years ago from one. So it's not just about the chemicals, it's about the lack of nutrients, because it's all not naturally grown. The soil is no nutrition in it, and that's what we eat. Just because it's green doesn't mean it's good.
It's a great point you bring up, and then this is why we have such a trouble bridging this gap, though, because if I talk to my grandma about organic food, she thinks I'm crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause when she was growing up, it was all organic.
Yeah.
Like that was just what food was.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about. But now it's been changed and chemicals and sprayed, and now it's not anymore. So tell her you're organic. I'll never forget a grocery store, and this grandma was talking to this other lady. She was like, "Don't buy the organic stuff. It's a scam." Like that stuff. Like I never had to do that growing up because she didn't. She literally didn't. But now it's all changed so much.
It's a standard. It's like everybody has a cell phone. 20 years ago, nobody did.
Right.
And it's a standard. Everybody has, cannot live without it.
It's a factory for mass production, that's what.
That's the food today. That's what it is. But you have the choices. You can have your own small garden in a house, right? Make sure you buy organic soil for that garden. Don't buy the crappy one at Walmart because your fruit and veggies will get everything from the soil, right? It's important. Don't spray everything around the garden with the chemicals because you have weeds in a garden. Good. Weeds are good in a garden. It means your soil is good if the weeds are growing, right? And same with the cleaning the fruits. Even if whatever you buy in a house, you bring in, and then what's the next stage? You have to clean it somehow, right? You guys wash your stuff? Yeah. How does it go for you? Because everything is sprayed, it's waterproof, right? Otherwise the rain will wash it out.
Right.
Okay. So the only way to do it would be some kind of soap, but strawberries and soap don't go well together, okay? I tried. Okay. But another simple solution is vinegar and water. This is like the best of the best. We mix 1 cup of vinegar to 4 cups of water, same thing, 20% ratio basically, and we soak it for 20-30 minutes. Make sure that stuff that you soak with a hard skin, strawberries will get dissolved basically very quickly in the solution. But apples, strawberries, anything that has a hard skin, you can soak it and we'll remove all that stuff that was actually on it.
The waxy film.
Like you'd be surprised how water looks like. Oh my God, it's like slimy. I mean, it really feels weird even if that's just the water. And it had nice colors. The one that's heaviest spray that what we found with my wife actually are grapes. Grapes are like one of the worst sprayed fruits that you can buy. Make sure you always soak them extremely well.
So the
20-30 minutes.
EWG will have a dirty dozen for you when you can download the app on your phone as well. So it will show you which fruits and vegetables you must buy organic and which you should not consume conventionally grown.
What do you got, Pete?
What kind of stuff, say I was to go into a grocery store and just eat a few grapes off of a bundle of
Right.
grapes. People come right there in the store and call me in my mouth. What kind of things would be on those?
You have to be a really good chemist to understand
Yeah.
that, to be honest with you. And I'm not a chemist, but you really have to be chemist. It's the antifreeze is one of them. There's stuff that's supposed to protect. Imagine if there is no any bug will eat it. Imagine how good it is for you.
I'll talk a little about the food. I'll talk about the food a little bit later. So we'll get more.
So guys, I used to work in the area in a big place, and there was a big apple tree growing in front of our entrance. So every fall, I was so happy there were 3 apples growing on a tree, right? So I was going clean the apple because it was never sprayed. Nobody ate them. I was the only one in the whole company, and I was eating them. You know how they look at me? What are you doing? Eating apple. Where did you get it? From the tree. What do you mean from the tree? I mean, this is really how crazy we got. We have started growing for free, healthy. Yes, they had bugs actually in it. Remember the worms? They actually did, which I was extremely happy. Free proteins one, but second, it means it's healthy. If more will eat it, it means it's actually okay. So this is the first thing to say. Okay? And now this one is my favorite. Who has non-stick pan in the house? Hands up. Non-stick pan. Most.
There's no
No
judgment.
judgment.
We're like,
Raise your hands.
guys, I've been doing this,
There we
for 10 years.
go.
Only one every blue moon doesn't have non-stick. But you have those small ovens, right? For a countertop ovens for oven. Guess what they finish with inside? Non-stick. Because otherwise food sticks, right? What's your microwave finish inside with? Non-stick, right? Non-stick and high temperatures don't go well together. Okay? They did studies about the non-stick that it's safe for us. Unfortunately, the studies were a little bit manipulated temperature-wise. Because the food should cook in specific temperatures, right? And the non-stick gets really dangerous when it heats up fast to the high temperatures. So they just said it's okay to have 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and they said no pan will heat up fast enough to get the temperature ever. So the first independent test that was done on non-stick cookware, they said the pan can heat up to 750 degrees in a matter of 4 minutes. Because guess what's the base of non-stick cookware? What is it made out of actually as a base? The shape. Oh, this is just a coating, but what's the base? Aluminum. This is the base, it has to heat up fast. So yes, we don't have an officially aluminum cookware today, but everything is based as aluminum actually.
So the air fryer is out?
Awesome.
No.
Yes.
Air fryer has to be non-stick, otherwise everything will stick to it.
Oh my god.
But guys, there are stuff about non-stick that you don't think you use it every day. And my favorite one is microwavable popcorn. Most people, it's the number one thing sold in America. I'm from Poland, so to me it was a crazy idea, right? That you don't just use the kernels itself. Okay, it's completely crazy. Did you ever open the bag before actually you put it in a microwave? Did you do that? I recommend to every single one. You will never eat it again. It looks like a melted Lego pieces with corn inside. That's how it looks, and the bag inside has to be coated with non-stick to protect it from sticking during the heating process. And that's what you eat. But it tastes awesome. See, what we found that Dr. Nick is great with his wife. We trade convenience for health. We want everything easy, easy, easy. Health is not easy. Health is an investment, it's a process, and it takes step by step by step. But you have to start somehow. Doesn't matter where you're at right now. The most important part is to start and start the process. So studies, guys. I'm gonna show you something that blew my mind. It's an independent study, and that's very important, the key, independent study. It's not done by the Cooper company, it's not done by anybody else, it's just by the science company. Okay, the study was done in 2017, so quite a fresh study. Guess where is most of the cookware made in the world? We call it Asia. We call it Asia because there are other countries that make quite a lot of cookware as well. But Asia is the number one producer by far. Okay. So you've heard about lead. Probably everybody heard about lead. Is it good for you or bad? It's very bad, right? Actually, the law in the state of Illinois prohibits lead in paint for about 18 to 19 years ago. Right? That's prohibited. But do you know there is no regulation in the United States that says how much lead can be in your cookware? It's awesome, isn't it? It's important to not have a lead in the paint because you eat out of your walls, but it's okay with the cookware. Think this way, lack of logic, but right? California is the strictest state in the US, so they know what's the dangerous dose of lead in your diet, but they don't say, let's say, let's make some limits, right? They just say what's dangerous. So the worst cookware they tested exceeded the California norm 2,800 times of lead. So imagine how your scrambled eggs are good for you. Or cook your organic veggies in that time. How organic are they after you cook them? This is the big part. Dr. Nick was talking about, the brain problems, right, with heavy metals, especially affecting our brain. I saw the new studies. They found that ADHD in kids. They don't know really why, but they found something in common. Heavy metal, a lot of heavy metals in blood in kids. Okay, they have ADHD. And there's Alzheimer's disease, right? It's quite known already. Alzheimer's disease is caused by aluminum intake. And that was the generation of my grandparents. Big problem in Poland. Why everybody had aluminum cookware? That was the number one thing they were eating out of. Today you don't, right? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Unfortunately, you just don't think this way because aluminum cookware is coated with nonstick. If you scratch it once, what goes in your food? Yeah, and then cancer is nonstick. On top of that, okay? Do you use aluminum foil in the oven? In the grill? Everybody's using it. You just don't think because it's not a cookware. But using more aluminum actually than ever. That's why you have a lot of mental health issues in the brain. Non-stick, it's a problem here. Gut. Gut is your second brain. My wife always claims it's the most important brain in our body. Okay, it really controls everything, how you behave. If this one is sick, nothing will work. Okay? And toxins will stay here for a long, long time. Okay, now we know that nonstick is bad, right? Everybody knows that. You're still using it. Oh, now we know more. Maybe it's time to get rid of it. Okay. So the cool thing is we try to sometimes our customers give us away the old pans, they don't want them anymore. We try to donate those pans to to the local charities. We can't donate nonstick cookware that is used. They won't take it. It's okay for you to buy it as new, but we can't donate this used. It's dangerous. Okay. Because there are two warnings that the US government requires of every pan that is sold in the United States that is nonstick coated. Number one says that after one scratch, you have to toss it in the garbage can. You've seen every one that is not scratched, besides the store. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've never seen one yet. It's always scratched. The more longer you use, the more it's coming off. Second warning is something that most people don't know is about the fumes. They said that newborn babies, exotic pet birds, small animals should never be near the cooktop during cooking process because the fumes are extremely dangerous. But when you cook, where you have to be? Near the cooktop, right? It creates something that is called, I think, if I pronounce it correctly, polyfumarole fever. It's a disease that mimics flu. So you're gonna have a body ache, temperature, headaches, everything like flu, but it's actually from really nonstick, especially when there are not in good ventilated places. We have a pet parrot. I have to sign the waiver for the breeder. We're not gonna have a nonstick cookware in the house. One cooking in open area with our parrot and parrot is out. That's good for us. It's okay. Because the warning is never okay. So there's a lot of chemicals that we don't think about, like nonstick, everybody knows something, right? But the cheap stainless steel, guys, is as dangerous as nonstick. Cheap stainless steel can have lead in it. Okay, nickel, other aluminum stuff. Then cast iron. This is another one that is quite popular. People confuse iron. There is iron that is good as a mineral, right? You eat spinach, green leafy vegetables, right? That's a good iron. But there's also heavy metal iron. Please don't eat it. Don't lick your pants if you lack of iron. Okay? It's not a really good iron for you. Okay?
Cast iron for Alzheimer's?
It's heavy metals. The all brain-related problems usually gonna have issues with heavy metals one way or another. And you can get them from other sources. This is just a cookware-wise, because nobody talks about this. Okay?
Can I take a picture of these?
Feel free.
Snap away.
And I don't have a QR code. Next year I'll figure out. Next year I'll figure out.
You're old school.
I have to admit, you improved quite a lot.
We have to talk more, Dr.
Give me heads up, so I don't look like
The
a
past 2
style.
years.
Okay, so tell me what I can use then.
Yeah,
Just
for real.
remove everything out of my kitchen.
High quality. Definitely there's no high quality nonstick, guys. Don't ever buy them. There's no such thing as high quality nonstick. It's all garbage. Better, nicer looking or not, but it's all garbage. But they tricked you right now. Now they start making ceramic stuff. You see the ceramic? Did you read what's underneath? It says nonstick. It's a ceramic nonstick. It's no ceramic. It's a ceramic nonstick. When they did, I'll show you the movie that I recommend everybody to watch. They did a first study on rats. It's actually more cancerous than the old stuff. But it will take 10 years, 15 years before it will come out, and so it's going to be okay. And then this one is something that I have a hard time always pronounce. I have to remember the word. It's called enam. I always say, with my accent, it sounds like an enamel. So it's enamel.
That's
Something
why I
I
say
didn't
it.
know where to use it, but you can buy those very heavy pens. Cast iron pens are coated with like a light color, very often, very expensive pens. That's usually what it's coated with. It's really great for heat. That's why it works so well. But to work so well, it has to have a lead and cadmium, depends on the brand. Now the problem is with the cadmium. I didn't really understand what it is till in August. We went out for a trip with our friend that used to be engineer in a Bell helicopter factory. They use it actually for a paint for helicopters.
Wow.
But to work in that department when there's paint with cadmium used, you're in a hazmat suit. Okay, because it's crazy actually. When she told us what the procedures are to be in the department there, but it's okay for you when you're cooking and you have high temperatures and you have chemical reactions every single time you cook.
And no one talks about it.
Nobody wants to start because it's, what's that one, right? And, oh, I can feel them. We have some extra studies. If you guys want to take a pictures, heavy metals leaching test, you can see what's coming out. Depends on the material, how much. Feel free, if not, we can send it to you always. But on the end, guys, the whole idea is it's hard to understand what chemicals are, really. And Dr. Nick is doing a great job, but today I'm gonna show you and I'll let you taste what chemicals are. So after my presentation, I'm
So
gonna
then you
prepare
can
something used to be called the only legal pot test in the state of Illinois. Unfortunately, they introduced pot as a legal thing, killed my joke. So we're gonna do the toxicity test, okay? Now we have to change the name. We're gonna boil water in 3 different materials. We're gonna boil water in a non-stick pan. We're gonna boil water in the highest quality stainless steel pan you can buy in the store, and we're gonna boil water in salad mustard. In this, okay? Salad mustard is an American company, been on the market for 75 years. They make the best cooker in the world. They are the only one using different kind of material. It's the highest surgical quality steel with titanium to stabilize the chemical reactions in high temperatures. It's phenomenal how it works. Still remember when I did it first time for you guys. I still remember your faces. Remember you brought your favorite pen?
I know.
That copper pen?
The test.
The copper pen?
I brought one of my pens, one of our old pens. We brought one of our old pens that they can test. So this is a pen we bought from Costco.
For our
This
anniversary.
Costco set for our anniversary.
But remember the copper one?
That's
My
a
mom gave me a
copper
copper pan for Christmas one year and was like, oh, cool, this is great.
Because my parents had copper pans all the time back in France. So, and
But
I,
the real copper, not the
Yes.
copper color.
exactly.
That's the
But
difference.
his mom tried to kill me.
So look at the different stories. See, now they create those marketing strategies to fool you, right? You can buy green pen, green color. You can buy some other colors. Now the newest trend is kind of looks like a stone. And the reason is simple. You cannot see scratches on it. It works like a camouflage, so you can't see scratches. You're gonna use it longer and longer, and you can't give out this. Okay, because on the black ones you really see the scratch right away. Right? So I'm gonna prepare the test. It will take me 20 plus minutes.
We'll do it. We're gonna do.
Yeah, we're gonna do that at the end.
At the end.
But I'm gonna prepare it. I'm gonna boil water in 3 different materials using just baking soda. And I'll tell you later. It's very, very, very simple. Okay. So
That's the last slide you guys had for me.
so this is it, right?
That's it. All right.
So thank you guys. If you're gonna have any questions, you can ask me at the break. You can ask my wife.
All right. Thank you. So we started using Saladmaster, the actual pots and pans, about 2 years ago. I'm sure they'll explain all this back there. So at the very end, we're gonna take a 5-minute break in a few minutes. I got a few more things to go over, like water and nutrition. We'll take a 5-minute break. You guys can ask questions, talk to Matt, talk to Sebastian, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water. But one of the things I just wanted to say is they actually come to your house and they'll bring their pans and cook a meal for you. Like they'll
Like
and they-
Thanksgiving
and then
meal.
and here's the best, they clean everything afterwards too. They cook it and they clean it, so you can just kind of taste the difference and see how they cook with the cookware, which I just thought was really cool. They were able to come out to our house. They brought and they cooked for our whole family.
And
for
how
all,
to use
all
it,
5
too.
of us at the time. Yeah, they cooked for everybody. So if it's something like that you just have questions about, ask them when they have a chance. They'll explain how it all works. So we have a couple samples at the break. You'll get to try a smoothie sample. Which is going to go well with the detox because people want to know what to eat in the mornings. Like it's the smoothie that we recommend, pretty simple. We have a bone broth that we made in that. That's our Saladmaster crock pot right there. So we made that in there over the last couple of days. It's been, I think, on low temperature for the last 3 days. I actually dropped a whole jar of it this morning, so there's only 1 jar here. So it should be enough for everybody to get a taste of it. But that's like, and I'll explain after the break kind of how we use the bone broth. You'll have a chance to get some of these samples. All right. So we're gonna jump into water. Everybody knows water is good, but a lot of people don't know that you're exposed to toxins different ways with water, not just with drinking water. In our house, I told you that, I don't know, did I say this the 5 to 100 times? I don't know if one of this. So that same group that did the toxin study from the very beginning, the 2 million toxins, they were studying how toxic our houses are. Our houses are anywhere from 5, listen to this number, 5 to 100 times more toxic than the outside air. 5 to 100 times more toxic than the outside air. Part of it is how the water works. So especially if you're on city water, when water just sits, it actually dissipates chemicals into the air. So chlorine is a big one. Like when you flush your toilet, the new water comes in, as it just sits there, the chlorine is actually coming into the air in the house. Same thing, if you ever have tap water at a restaurant, you take that first sip and it's kind of like, oh, this is terrible. And you wait about 5 minutes and the water tastes better because all the chemicals start dissipating out of the water. So it starts to taste a little better. So what a lot of people don't know, when you're in the shower, if you don't have any filtration, when you're in the shower, steam, right, the steam comes up, guess what you breathe in? Right, you're breathing all the chemicals in the water and it lands on your skin's absorbing it. Tap water, 84,000 chemicals in tap water. Your skin repels about 75%. That's still 25% chemicals that you're being exposed to every single day, every time you drink something, every time you take a shower, just from your water. So we recommend shower filters, whole house water filtration. I don't know exactly how Oprah does it. We're already going to raffle some stuff off later today. So we've got a whole house shower filter just for you guys being here. We're going to raffle it off. Then we've got a water sample, a way to test your water sample. So at the very end, we'll raffle those off so somebody can take that with you. But again, if somebody walks into your house and see this big weird thing on your shower, what are you doing? Like, why is this big thing stuck to your shower? Exit conventional, right? Don't just be normal because it looks weird, but you're taking all those chemicals out of the water you're breathing. Well water is a better option if you're on well water because you're not getting the city added chemicals, right? The city's putting chlorine and fluoride in your water. Fluoride, one of the most toxic particles out there, is a neurotoxin. So like if you brush your teeth with fluoride toothpaste, I would switch to that right now. When you go to the dentist, we always tell them, please no fluoride with the kids, no fluoride with us today, right? Because fluoride is literally, and that's, you can Google that, that'll pop right up. Everybody, they know, it's well known that fluoride is a neurotoxin. And I'll talk about bioaccumulation later. When they do these studies, I'll hit a little bit now, when they do these studies, little bits at a time, they're like, oh, that doesn't bother you. But if this stuff, I mean, if you have a little bit of fluoride every single day, it accumulates in your body. They don't do those studies to how much this builds up. So city water, you definitely want to have some sort of filtration system. And then I talked about the chlorine evaporation or the dissipation. These chemicals are dissipating into the air. All right, toxins in food. So I think you guys are getting the point right now, right? There's a lot of chemicals and there's a lot of toxins everywhere. So I'm going to wrap up with toxins in food. Some of the main things monosodium glutamate. What is that? What's the
MSG, I love it.
MSG, yes.
I love it.
I'm sure. Why do people love MSG though? Because it's chemically designed for you to love it,
Yeah.
right? You're addicted
They
to
know
it.
what they're doing there,
Right. But it causes nerve damage, right, and heart disease. MSG causes nerve damage and heart disease. Aspartame, or pretty much any artificial sweetener, that's going to cause, you're going to have cancers, neurotoxins in there. It's going to cause digestive issues. It's going to mess with your microbiome. Nitrates, which are like a stabilizer in food, those are going to cause cancer. FD&C colors. So guys, you got to flip it over and read the ingredients. Like read the ingredients. If you have colors in there, that's an easy one to check. If there's a color, get rid of it. Just put it back. So these different colors, they're going to cause problems with our autisms and our behavioral issues. Like they're causing a ton of issues with kids. Refined oils, cancer, heart disease, oils. The two oils that you should never ever eat: vegetable oil and canola oil. Right, vegetable oil and canola oil. Guess what are the cheapest oils on the market? Vegetable oil. Right, so everyone's like, oh, I'll get a huge bucket of that. Has anybody ever seen a canola plant before? No, you haven't. There is no such thing as a canola plant.
Great, thank you.
So they've changed the name. There's no, canola stands for Canadian Oil Low Acid. That's what it's an acronym. Canola is an acronym because they have to chemically change it. The name of the plant is called a rapeseed. That's the name of the plant. And guess what rapeseed is? It's toxic. It's toxic to humans. So but it's easy to grow, right? It's very easy to get a lot of. So they harvest the rapeseed and they chemically alter it, and it becomes canola oil, Canadian acid or Canadian oil low acid. So they change it. So there is no canola plant It's called a rapeseed plant that has been completely chemically altered. Vegetable oil. What kind of vegetables do you think is in your vegetable oil? There is, technically, right? It's corn and soy, essentially. It's corn and soy, right? Some of the most genetically modified plants on the planet. People are like, oh, vegetable oil. It's not like peppers and cucumbers and tomatoes. It's corn. It's corn and soy. Yeah, it's sorry.
So what oil do you guys use?
So I recommend coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil,
Flaxseed
right?
oil.
Grapeseed oil, not the grapeseed oil. The grapeseed oil is usually pretty good.
Question. A lot of people say, well, you can't cook olive oil to a certain temperature. You
Correct.
should cook everything. Well, how do you know what?
So essentially, you should never let your oil smoke. When you're cooking on the pan, you should never let it smoke. So if it gets to the smoking point is when it starts to get denatured. So what happens, what most people do, they put their oil in, they turn it on and walk away, right? They come back, it's smoking, they know it's hot. Well, you start to denature your oil, you start to change the structure, the chemical structure of it. It's not quite as healthy. So like coconut oil is a very a higher heat. It's got a higher heat level. Olive oil is a lot lower. So for us, if we're going to cook, we're either cooking with strictly coconut oil, basically.
Butter.
Well, and
Real
butter
butter.
too, but strictly coconut oil is what we'll cook with. Grass-fed butters, though, right? And then olive oil and like avocado oil we use for like salads and dressing.
So that's corn oil. No.
I'm getting there. So yeah, grass oil makes it just come from a
Kerrygold is
grass-fed
good,
source. So the next part is the GMO part, the genetically modified, and that's been kind of hailed as the savior, right? Well, thank God we can genetically modify everything, so we can provide more food to people, but we can feed the world. It's much easier, guys. They didn't do it to feed the world, right? They did it to save money. They did it so they could produce a whole lot more food at a cheaper cost to them. So what they did is they would take the plant, they alter it so it's resistant to pesticides. So what was happening is they would spray pesticides, but they had to be more careful because the pesticides kill the plant also. Like in the old days, they would kill the plant by spraying on there, so they'd lose a ton of their crop. I said, this isn't working out. Like we're trying to make all this food, trying to keep it low cost, but we're killing our crop. So they genetically modified the plant to be resistant to all the pesticides, the glyphosate, the Roundups. So now they said they don't have to look at it now. They can just dump a gallon of this stuff on everything because the plants aren't going to die from it. So what they're doing, the genetically modified, is they can spray your fruits and vegetables with more garbage, with more pesticides, more chemicals, and not worry about killing themselves. So yes, they can produce more food with more chemicals in it, which is why when you have a vegetable oil, it's using all these genetically modified organisms which have pesticides and chemicals and so on. So yeah, avoid, again, this might be the one thing you need is to start going to coconut oil instead of canola oil. You don't want to switch it. So toxic bioaccumulation, this is kind of wrapping up everything that we've talked about. And yes, the studies are there. You can find a study that says all these chemicals we talked about are safe for consumption, they're safe for humans, but they do it in a certain percentage. Oh, if you have 0.001% in your body, that's okay. Well, if I have 0.001% of fluoride and then I brush my teeth the next day and the next day and the next day, twice a day, every day, what do you think's happening there? It's not 0.001% now, it's building and building.
Accumulating.
It's accumulating, bioaccumulation, exactly. So this is why somebody may be able to eat that stuff when they're 10, and then when you're 40, you're like, man, I get migraines now, and I have hormone issues, and I don't know what the heck's going on. Like my muscles hurt, my joints ache, I'm breaking down. Man, it's just age, right? I just turned 40 and everything went downhill. BS. It's not age, right? It's not age. Now, you don't feel quite as fast as you get older, but I'm telling you guys, it's not age. You can do something about this. So one of the things we recommend is just look where your sources come from. Read your labels. There's a difference in the way the soil is these days. If you're getting the conventional foods, you're probably getting stuff that's either sprayed or they're not nutrients to start with. Right? Look for local, organic, homegrown. This is the stuff we want to start supporting, so you'll get better nutrition and less chemicals. Okay, was that a good first half?
Yeah.
We learned something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's try to keep this to like a 5-minute break because we got to do the whole second half here. What do you hope Dr. Phil wants to speak? Go ahead.
Just want to say something, 5 minutes. It can be like very overwhelming, like the cosmetic and the food and the organic and stuff. So think like one thing that you're gonna tackle, master it for 3 months. So it's like, I'm switching my plastics to glass. Do that for 3 months. Then, okay, now I'm gonna eat grass-fed meat. Do that for 3 months. Then, okay, now the plastic part of with the cosmetic. So that way you don't feel overwhelmed. The one thing I'm gonna tell you guys in your folder here, we're gonna pass around, there is a bone broth recipe,
Oh, the recipe.
and there is a, you're welcome,
Okay.
and smoothie. So this is a great example for like breakfast or snack when you're gonna do the detox. The recipe is in there, so this is what you're gonna have a little taste of. Same thing for the bone broth. This is what you're gonna have a little taste of. And then here you have a supplement. So we put like packages or what is it called? Bundles together, specifically for your immune system and specifically for inflammation. And they are like easy already and lay on the table back there for you guys. Whatever bundle, if you want to get one of those, especially immunity one, it's the perfect time in the fall now. With not being outside as much, so it's really loaded with vitamin D, vitamin C.
And we'll talk more about the supplements in depth. after
Yes,
the break.
yes, but I just want to explain to you what those papers were, and then over there, you're gonna see the two tables, but one is for the bundle, so it's already laid out easy for you guys to grab, so you don't have to take. Okay, that's it.
All right, get a break, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, talk to Sebastian, talk to Matt if anybody has questions on the detox. Get some water, get the samples, the smoothies coming around. 5 minutes, we'll
You
get
can give
back.
it to me now, and then I can put it together. Okay. Perfect.
I always wondered